Gardens evolve and change as they age, just like we do. Our next guest is taking her garden down a simpler path, so over the years she can handle it on her own and it can still be lovely and enjoyable. We're here in beautiful Murfreesboro on a spring day that is lovely in the garden of my garden lover's friend, Peggy Nelson. Thanks, Peggy, for letting us come be with you.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm so glad to be able to show off my garden.
Well, it is lovely, and boy, have you got the queen of spring in your garden here. Your peonies are lovely.
Thank you. I've got several different varieties and some new ones and some that are been here 40 years.
Oh, see, that's what I love about gardens, the history behind them. Well, let's start here because you've got some allium here to kind of break up the peony plots a little bit.
When the peony and iris finish blooming, then I have allium, and I love it because I cut them and use the dried globes, I call them, in arrangements. I want something tall in the garden. I have 3 different batches of them.
And they have different leaves too to add a little bit of interest there.
Yeah.
So, but your peonies, oh my goodness, they are so spectacular. And like I said, these are quite showy and beautiful.
This is my newest one.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It's called Bowl of Beauty.
And isn't it? It's just the cutest thing. I love it. But you know what? I don't see any ants. What's the deal?
They get on there on the buds before they open, but then after they open, you don't see so many.
Peggy, this magenta peony is gorgeous. I don't think I've ever seen one that beautiful and doubled.
Yes, I don't know the name of it, but I love the color. And it was a gift from a friend, and I've had it maybe 20 years.
See, I like the peonies when they get really huge like that. And you've got these obviously in full sun.
I do, and these had one in between there that I took out because they weren't getting enough air circulation. So they need a lot of air moving around them. And I've planted 2 new ones.
Well, and they like air because of that fungus that they can get that turns them black. And so I like them too because they just kind of go willy-nilly like this. I mean, we've had a little bit of rain and they're gonna fall over. That's just the way that works.
Yeah, they're drooping. They were sopping wet this morning and they're starting to stand back up a little bit.
But don't they make great cut flowers too? Because
I
you
love
use this as a cut flower garden.
I do. I love to cut them, give them to people in arrangements, and
the older the better, I think. Those are beautiful.
Yeah, the peonies, they just go on and on and on forever. Some of them here are 80 years old.
Really?
80 years old.
Well, I knew that they could live up to 100 years, but I honestly have not seen any that were that old. So, but oh, your irises, this salmon color is lovely.
Isn't that pretty? And
yes.
I had some solid white ones over here, but they're gone now. But I love the salmon. It's a little different.
You know, the beauty of irises is that you get early ones, late ones, and so they just kind of pop out when you think they're about done.
That's true.
And again, you've got some allium in here that's kind of breaking everything up a little bit, making it look nice.
When all the pretty colorful things are gone, the allium is blooming, and that's kind of why I kept it, even though it's beginning to crowd some things, but I love it anyway.
Do you ever divide that?
We have.
Okay, let's look at these peonies here. Boy, you've got a little sea of peony blooms.
These are the ones that are probably 80 years old. They came from my mother-in-law's garden, her house was next door, and she had them, you know, long time ago, and then we transplanted some and brought them over here we brought them over here to my garden about 40 years ago, but I think they were in her garden another 40 years prior to that.
Wow. So. Well, those are just beautiful. I love those, but boy, this is the showstopper. Wow.
These are everyone's favorite, including mine. They are just, I love the color. They're just light and airy, effortless to grow. They just come up every year. I've had them about 10 years. I don't know the name, and I think, if you believe it, I think my late husband, got the plants, the bulbs at Walmart.
Really?
I think.
They are just beautiful. It looks like it's fake almost.
They are really
And they're kind of
pretty.
papery. I love how they completely open up like that. It's just beautiful. And again, you know, this is the nature of the beast. They're going to fall over a little bit.
Some people build cages around them. I have so many that I don't like the way cages look, but
Yeah.
they would help this problem if you wanted to do that. A short little fence around them would help with that.
I may have to have a piece of that.
All right. I'll
And
give you
then
some.
you've even got a rhododendron over here that is beautiful.
It's old as well and struggles, but I had an arborist look at it because it's got this scaly stuff on it. He said, "Oh, that's just lichen. It's fine. Leave it alone." So I was glad to hear that news.
Absolutely.
That there was nothing wrong with it.
Well, and it's again, it gives you a little kind of a tree feel to it, a little focal point when this is all gone. It's beautiful.
Now you'll notice that these peonies in the back here are not blooming, and they're going to have to be transplanted because they're getting shaded out by the yews. The rhododendron loves that afternoon shade, but the peonies do not. So I'll have to move them.
So full sun.
Full sun.
So do those get sun at all?
Morning, they get morning sun
And that's
till
it.
about right now, about 1.
And then they're done with the sun. So that's not enough.
That's not enough.
Peggy, you do have a beautiful shade garden here that incorporates, again, some native and maintenance-free plants. So you've got a healthy Helioboris over here.
Yes, 2 of them. And they were also gifts from somebody that had them in their woodland, and I put them here because they're under the shade of the crepe myrtle. And they've bloomed and bloomed and bloomed this year since February. They just keep blooming.
They're beautiful. And I
Thank
love
you.
how you've incorporated different things in here for pops of color and interest with your gargoyle.
The gargoyle.
So you can just have a little respite in the shade here after working in the peonies, right?
Do you know about money plants?
Money plant. I haven't seen one in a while.
There's several in this bed, and that's only one blooming. But in the fall, they make a little white thing that looks like a coin. That's why they're called money plants, and they're nice in arrangements too.
And the seeds are in that, right?
Right. The seeds are in the little papery looking coin.
Well, let me just say that the blooms are much prettier.
That you don't like the coins?
I don't like the coins, but I love that. On purpose, Peggy?
This is planted here because it gets the water from the heat pump constantly. It's called a swamp iris, and it needs to stay wet all the time, so I don't have to water it here. The lady that gave it to me said this was the perfect environment, and so that's why it's here. And it's a Tennessee native plant, and I think it just a little bit unusual. I enjoy it.
Well, yeah, and again, no maintenance.
No maintenance.
Here's your shade garden. Every garden needs shade.
Yes, indeed.
So you've not got a lot of shade, but you've got a perfect little area for these plants.
This is my little corner of shade, and I love it. I had not had ferns before, so this is relatively new, maybe 2 years I've had it, but I transplanted trillium from down in the woods near the creek. This is native, wild trillium, and then this one was a gift. This is a yellow trillium, and so I wanted the combination. The ferns were also from a friend's garden. I had not had ferns before, so I'm excited about them. The monstera was in a little teeny pot arrangement, and I stuck it in the ground last year, and it grew about 5 feet. And I wintered it over, and so I've just put it in the ground again from wintering it over. And then I've added some coleus in the front and a Rex begonia just for a little color.
Right,
in the front, and of course the hosta here.
You just need a place to cool down from working over there, right?
I'm thinking about extending my patio into this shady corner.
Peggy, it's beautiful, and you know what I love about it? It is just manageable. That's what I like about it.
Yes, I mean, I do sit and weed, frequently, but the mulch helps. I have a big delivery every year of mulch, and then we mulch the beds, and that helps control the weeds.
Exactly.
I don't use any Roundup or any weed killer.
So now you've got a garden that you can enjoy for the rest of the season and not have to work through all of it, right?
Correct.
That's my kind of garden, Peggy. Thank you for having us, and thank you for letting us visit and see your beautiful garden here in Murfreesboro. It's lovely.
Well, thank you for coming, Tammy.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.